Well, hey there, it's John here back at the Hands-On Discovery Center with another activity that you guys can do right at home. Now, it's no secret that I love space, outer space, the planets and the stars and moons, and stargazing is one of my favorite activities to do. But what if there are clouds all night when you're trying to stargaze? How are you going to look up and appreciate all the beautiful little dots and even more constellations if you can't see the stars? Well, you can actually make a constellation viewer using stuff right around the house. Now, first, what is a constellation? Well, a constellation is a grouping of stars that people over the course of history have looked up and using their imagination have connected the dots of the stars, saying, ooh, this little grouping over here looks like a little dog, and it's known as the little dog. There are 88 of these constellations officially. But to learn a little bit more about constellations and making a constellation viewer, all you will need is a used toilet paper roll, some colored paper, some pens, maybe a push pin or a toothpick, some tape, scissors, and a glue stick. That's pretty much it, and I bet you have all that stuff at home. You could go online. I actually found templates of these little circular diagrams of some of those 88 constellations. But the cool thing about this is if you don't want to use one of these 88, you can go a little crazy. Make up your own new constellation. The first step is, of course, just to cut out the diagram of this template. Let's go ahead and do Orion. That's a very popular one, very common and easily recognizable because of his 3 stars in his belt. We're just going to snip that, cut all the way around this dotted line here. Ta-da! Now this paper, this printer paper, lets a lot of light through it. I can see straight through it when holding it up to a light. We don't want that. We want to block much of the light passing through. That's why I'm going to use some colored cardstock, or you could use construction paper. And you'll want to glue this down, maybe not right up at the edge of the paper, because we're going to cut out a ring or a border around our constellation wheel. So I'm going to glue this down right about there, leaving about an inch overlap or overhang on either side. Now we're going to tape or cut out a circle of this cardstock, leaving about an inch border all the way around. Rinse and repeat. Cut, 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 cut. Notice this doesn't have to be super precise. This is more of just eyeballing it, kind of guesstimating. We just need that little bit of overhang to attach it to our constellation viewer tube, also known as a toilet paper roll. At this point, you will want to actually go ahead and, well, probably let the glue dry a little bit because it'll make it easier to poke out those stars in your constellation viewer. But when yours is nice and dry, grab a little piece of cardboard. That's going to help you from poking into the tabletop that you're working on. Place your constellation wheel down and using a push pin, go ahead and add little tiny holes everywhere that there's a little star on your diagram. Here's one, another one, and done. Now you can hold it up to the light and just make sure that there's a little bit of light passing through. Oh, it actually looks kind of like the constellation Orion there. If you want, you can make these holes a bit bigger by taking a toothpick and actually just pushing it through, pressing and maybe twisting, and that's going to widen the opening for your constellation or the star in that constellation. Now to attach this to your constellation tube, well, gluing that on isn't going to stick very well because there's not a lot of surface area on the top of this cardboard. To help with that, take your scissors again and cut some little slices into the border, not into the wheel itself, but just into the cardstock border. I would say about 8. So start over here and then go over here. Cut it again. Then cut it into fourths. Again, cutting just through the cardstock, right up to the wheel, and then the other side. That gives us 4 little cuts. Let's do subsections. Cut them again, cut those in half again, in half again, and last but not least, in half again. What that does is it turns these the little border into kind of tabs that you can fold down. And these will help us to tape it much more securely to our constellation viewer tube. Using just regular old Scotch tape, go ahead and just tape that down. All those little tabs, make sure that it's evenly placed over your toilet paper tube. Once those are all taped down, you can then go ahead and decorate it. I can use more of this cardstock to maybe give the tube a little bit more colorful look. Also, it's nice to write on the tube itself the name of the constellation that you made. In this case, it's Gemini, one of the zodiac signs, the sign for the month of June, which is actually my birth month. But as I said, you could also make your own. In this case, I made one that looks like a question mark, and I called it the what? The question mark constellation. And when you look through it, hold it up to a light, and again, that light passes through those little pinholes in the stars that you made, and you can actually see an image of your constellation. But wait, you could also take a flashlight, maybe dim the lights in your room, pass the light through it, and it will actually project. Look! I can see the constellation of what? The question mark. Project it onto a surface. And depending on how close you are or how far away to that surface, it will get bigger or smaller. So even if you don't have a clear night for stargazing, you can make your own constellations in your own bedroom. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this activity, and hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss a new video upload, and check the description below. There might be some information on how you guys can help us keep the science alive. But right now, I'm gonna go take this outside, and if I can see if I can actually find the constellation what? Bye guys!